And this is after I tell them I'm an incest survivor and a rape survivor and I all yada yada, all the horrible things. And I say, you know what? I learned a lot. And people say, well, that's awesome for you, but I'm feeling stuck. And I say there
Yeah.
has to come a point where you have to ask yourself how you want to identify yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
That's a
And then
good.
but if you're a trauma survivor, all you can think of is the past or the present pain. And so that healing journey is asking yourself, can I look a little forward to a version of
Yes.
you that amazes you?
Yes.
That
Yes.
amazes you.
Yes. Absolutely. That has been hugely profound in my life. I mean, I'm not saying that right, but that has been something that I've actually done. Is I, you get locked into, and here's an example. This is what made me kind of realize it. I was driving to work one day, and there's this transition. I'm in San Diego, so traffic is horrible. And so there's the transition in the morning between one freeway to another, and it's just this, you've got to look everywhere. It's just crazy the way people do this transition. And
Mm-hmm.
as I was making the transition, you got to look on both sides, you got to look in front, you got to look behind, and it's just kind
Mm-hmm.
of, it's not fun to try to do. And so what hit me though as I was coming over is, if I just paid attention to what was in my rearview mirror, if that's the only thing that
Mm-hmm.
I looked at, imagine how many cars I would just crash into, right? And there's
Mm-hmm.
some, like, it hit me like all at once. And then it just made me realize that, in my life, I can't stare at that rearview mirror. I can't focus on that rearview mirror. I need to focus what's in front of me in the big, window. And there's going to be times that I'll need to look at my rearview mirror, but I need to stop focusing on that because I'm going to crash and burn. I'm going to crash and burn.
I love that analogy. And for you guys who are listening or watching or whatever however you're consuming the information, as Lisa was talking and I looked at her eyes, I could just see like her your pupils dilate a bit as you were recalling that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's this ability of, can I stay calm in the middle of the storm? You
Yeah.
know, retrain your body to understand you are safe, you're well, you're protected.
Yes.
And I mean, I just threw out a tool just right now. I just inadvertently did that. That's not really what I wanted to talk about, but I mean, that's something literally that you have to do is train, like literally say
Yes.
it out loud, make those
Hmm.
declarations as part of the recovery journey. But for a lot of us, right, if we knew to feel safe, it was always constantly replaying events. Okay, I know that dad gets crazy unless he has 2 beers. Okay, I know if I make sure if I enter in the back, not the front at certain time frames. I know if I never mention certain things, I'll be
Yeah.
okay. And then so we're constantly replaying, remixing
Yeah.
all those scenarios again. And we don't realize that all that constant replay, right? It's just like a record. It's tiring the record. It's tiring your mind.
Yeah.
And that's why I talk to so many trauma survivors and that's like, Denise, I am tired. I'm like, baby, I
Yeah.
know you're tired. Your head has been spinning through
Yeah.
tons of stuff all day long.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember being exhausted all the time. And, up until I was 24, I smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
And so, I quit smoking. I thought, oh, that'll take care of it. I'm sure that's probably why I'm tired. It didn't make any difference. Why am I so tired all the time? Well, I was in survival mode. And then if I wasn't in survival mode, I had a victim mindset. So I was constantly on hyper vigilant alert. And like you were just saying, that assess everything. And you get to that point where you walk into a room and you're assessing it before you walk in. And you're assessing it as you walk in, and you're assessing it the whole time you're in the room. And that's exhausting. When your brain has to work that hard all the time, and your adrenal gland and your body's just on alert, just waiting for your brain to find something for you to either fight or fly or whatever. It's exhausting.
You know, I think a lot of people, and I can identify with me. And if you can't, that's fine. Fill in the blanks with something else that applies to you. But for me, I also consumed a lot of content that kept
Mm.
my body in high stress all the time. And one of the
Oh.
things that I used to do was I loved watching murder mystery stuff,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
And I loved watching soap operas,
Mm.
specifically The Young and the Restless. And I go back to that book, Betrayal Bonds by Dr. Patrick Carnes. I'm not trying to advertise his book, but I think about he specifically mentions that he says, for a lot of us, we're tuned to high stress, high dramatic situations because it reactivates all the same familiar sensations that we had become accustomed to as a child. And it's so funny, Lisa, like the other day, out of curiosity, I was on my home, I was in bed, I was looking at my phone, and I was like, oh, is this, is Young and Restless, still in business, longest running soap opera in US history. Yeah, it's sort of Bold and Beautiful. Tells you how many years I was watching that. Anywho, I'm sitting there, Lisa, and I'm watching these 1 minute clips, right? And my heart is starting racing. I'm starting to feel like it was just dialogue.
But your body went back.
Yes. And so for those of you guys who are listening, like one of the things that, if you actionable items, is check the content you're consuming, because it may inadvertently trigger your body into stress.
Yeah.
People think it's entertainment. It's not entertainment. It's just, you're like,
no, it's not. And it's the music. It's what you watch. It's what you read. It's all of that. There's times that, like, I just take a break from social media. Like I've had enough, and I will put my phone down and I will take a break from it for days. Cause I've had enough, cause I am sensitive to that as well. And now that I live in a much calmer state, it's much more obvious to you, right? When, like you said, your life, you live a very different life now. You just happen to flip that on and immediately your body responded. And you caught it right away because you've become very sensitive to that, and you've created a peaceful life for yourself. So when there's upheaval, it's really uncomfortable. And imagine this, we live like that all the time.